Does anybody know how many cranial bones we have as opposed to facial?
8.
8 cranial, and then how many facial?
22.
Okay, can someone look that up for me? I have that chalk in my book.
We have 14 facial bones.
Very good. So there's 14, okay? All right, so then let's go ahead and open this up. And we're gonna identify some that are on the inside as well. Okay. So looking at these in the inside, what is this one that looks like kind of like a butterfly?
Temple? No.
This one here?
The cella?
That's a funny name.
Sphenoid?
Sphenoid. That's a sphenoid. And what is really unique about the sphenoid bone? Anybody? What is unique about that bone?
It's the base of the cranium.
Okay. Is there anything else that you can think of that's unique about the sphenoid?
For the sinuses?
True. Anybody? Anything distinguishing that's really unique about this bone, this particular bone in here?
I know where to find it.
So if you give up one now, and I'll tell you. So anybody can figure it out.
Which one is this?
The sphenoid. So if you're looking at this picture in your book, you tell me, does it articulate with everything?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
it's between.
So this is the
bone.
only bone in here, in the skull, that articulates with every bone in here.
The spinal cord.
Articulating means it touches all the cranial bones. So that's what's unique, okay? Then there's another unique little bone in here. It's within this bone, which is the ethmoid. This whole bone is an ethmoid bone. But within the ethmoid bone is a special feature, and it has a unique name. Do you remember what that funky looking pointy thingy?
The Crista Galli.
The cribiform plate is where the
Oh,
holes are.
cribiform plate.
The Crista Galli is the funny pointy thing. That one's where I'm pointing.
Oh,
See
okay.
how it protrudes out?
Yeah.
Okay. And what runs through the cribiform plate?
The olfactory foramina.
Right. When you have an olfactory foramina, so the olfactory nerves, and that has to do with our sense of smell. So those nerves run through here into our sinus, into here, in our sinus cavity. So what is unique about the middle portion of the sphenoid bone that kind of curves up like a cup?
Cella.
That's called the sella turcica. And what sits in the sella turcica? There's a particular gland that sits in there.
It's the.
Pituitary gland.
The pituitary gland. So the pituitary gland sits within there, and it's the master gland. It tells all the other glands what to do. It's kind of like the boss. Okay? So then we have these unique looking holes. Okay? So what is this main hole
The
called?
foramen magnum.
Okay. This is the second largest foramen in the body.
Does
Okay.
that hit on the first?
The orbiter, which is down in the pubis area, yeah, that's the second one.
Which one was the
Or
first?
the other
sorry?
one, I should say. I'm sorry?
What did you say? With
That is one of the second largest foramen in the body.
largest.
Uh-huh. Or first, whatever you want to say, if you go in descending order. First, second. Why do you think it's so big?
For the spinal.
Because the brainstem actually transitions to the spinal cord, and so the brainstem's pretty big. So it needs a little extra room, so that's why it's as big as it is. Okay, and then we have a couple other foramens. Now, is she going to want you to know for your class more of the details about the foramens? Like, does she want you to know, besides the foramen magnum, does she want you to know, like,
She doesn't really tell us anything. That's probably why people aren't doing so good in the class.
well, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys anyway, even if it's too much information.
Hers is more, she just wants to know the face, zygomatic, lacrymal, vomer, mandible, vertebral column, the atlas axis, cervical versus thoracic versus lumbar.
Right. So basically, she wants you to basic stuff. I'm going to go into a little more detail because I feel like it's really,
Well, it's
in case
good.
she throws it at you.
Yeah, maybe I can just set this over there so that I can get this on here, if
Okay,
that's
no
okay with
problem.
you. Do you mind?
No.
Okay. Do you guys mind?
Would you do me a
if I just
favor?
put this in?
Yep, Laura, I have it over there, it has books in it.
An 86.
Get the straight anatomy book, it'll say anatomy.
Just gonna put this here. Because I just want to be able to get as much as I can.
Oh, sure, no problem.
I'm kind of confused, like I want to see which one.
That's why I wanna get an idea for notes.
Yeah, it actually really helps that I can record everything.
That's exactly what I want to get. It's the straight anatomy book. It's really thick and heavy. It's on the very bottom shelf. There you go. Thank you.
I think I messed up before you.
No, I don't need a lab book, but thank you. Thank you so much.
Something.
I was very surprised.
Yeah.
That's a B.
It's a B.
So I'm going to kind of transition back and forth between the two books.
from
90. No.
Okay, ladies, let's go on. Okay, I'm going to transition between the two books because this book has more detail.
Okay.
So let's go back to the skull. Hello.
Are you looking for the
Yeah. Okay.
from the 15 to the 20?
Oh, for the.
Isn't it 13
It's
or something?
13.
Yeah, from the 15 to
23.
That's a lot of chapters.
Okay.
They're not chapters though.
But she said she went back to the previous, about inside the school.
No.
Just it was like a play.
But the leg and
Okay, here we
everything, she is gonna have the whole.
All right, so within the skull, ladies, is a couple of different foramens. Anytime you have a hole in a bone, it's called a foramen, okay? So
If
next
it
to the
bothers you.
sella tersica, there's a foramen on either side. Those foramens are called foramen lacrimen. So what do you think is near that in the eyeball? If it's a lacrimen. So the tear duct. So the cranial nerves that have to do with directing the tear ducts or controlling the tear ducts is- that run through those. Anytime you have a foramen in the skull, it's because a cranial nerve runs through it. Okay? So on either side here, you have the lacrimal foramen. Okay? Then as you move slightly apart from those two holes, just outside here, a little further, they're a little big here on the other ends, you have the next foramen, which is the foramen ovale. And then the really teeny tiny hole right here next to the foramen ovale is the foramen spinosa. I can't talk today. Spinosa. So that's all I'm going to probably focus on for the foramens right at this moment. Okay. So let's turn to a couple of other distinguishing features which are also on the skull. Okay, we have this bone is the temporal bone, correct? Okay, as you move down the temporal bone, it's actually split a little bit in half and it's called the mastoid. Okay. This down here that protrudes out, anything that's protrusion, is called a process. A process is where a muscle attaches to it. So down here at the end, where you can feel right behind your ear, is the mastoid process. Okay? Then if you turn the skull upside down, you have these two pointy, they almost look like fangs. Can you see that? Okay.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Those are called styloid process. They help in chewing and swallowing. Also a point of attachment for muscles. Okay, so that's the skull. So if you want to just pass around and look, go ahead. So let's just do a quick quiz. So what's a foramen again?
It's an opening.
It's an opening, okay. And why is the foramen magnum so large in the skull?
For the brainstem.
Brainstem. Very good. Okay. And what is the bone in the skull that articulates with all the other cranial bones? The sphenoid. Very good. Okay. All right, so let's move on to next, which I'm going to go into the vertebrae. Okay. So what we're going to do is work from the head down.
When I asked her for us, she said she was